Hey, yo, y'all hear that? So you mean to tell me y'all don't hear that? Well, riddle me this then. Listen up, I got a story to tell. Mr. If you know type shit. Back under the banger once again. Gone hard with no excuses. No white flags. No peace talk. No truces. So with that being said, y'all relax. Lay back in your Maybach. Put your mentor on cruise control. And as always, watch me unload this fire. So now, let's get right into the story. But hold up. Pump your brakes. If you watching this video and y'all rock with your man 50 grand, I need y'all to hit that like button. Leave me a comment. Share the video. And last but not least, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So, skirt, let's ride out. Down there, Autry State Prison. And I had my hands all the way in the cookie jar. I'm knee deep. I had 2 blue suits working for me, and I had, I'm going to say, 2.5 individuals in the free world doing the Mike Vick, the John Elway, and the Tom Brady. But guess what? They starting to get shady. And my man Charlie Global pulled up just in time. So by him being around that area, 229 all the time, he had leverage. He knew a lot of people in that surrounding area. And the dudes I was dealing with, you feel what I'm saying, like I said, they were starting to get greedy. They wanted more money than they was worth. Because when you in the throw game, when you throwing what you throwing, you know it's a hit or miss. It's a 50-50 chance. But when you got blue suits bring the pack, it's like a 70-30 chance. Anything you do, you taking a chance regardless. But being as I'm an experienced convict, I always look at it, does the ends justify the means? What I mean by that, if it's not win in my direction as far as the win, and if I feel it's kind of, I'm not going to indulge in it. So as I said, I'm already got things going at fast pace. And Charlie Global just pulled up. So once, you know what I mean, he was there for a couple of weeks, you know what I mean, I let him, you know, get settled in. And I really wanted to pull up on him, but, you know, I just wanted to see how bro rock. Because when a person comes to the camp, you know what I mean, you got to see what they got going on, what they're about, where they came from, so on and so forth. You know, ain't nobody big in the program, me or nobody. You know what I mean? You got to observe your surrounding. So once I had a couple of guys, you know, watch them closely, they was like, yeah, bro, official tissue, you know what I mean? He stayed down there near the Good Life, you know what I mean? And I made a couple of phone calls, you know what I mean? And everything checked out. So once I seen bro's official, like I said, I let him settle in. And once he settled in, I see everything was official. I pulled up on him like a ghost. I'm like, hey, bro, come holler at me. Let's rap a tab. And we started chopping it up. So I just basically told him, I say, look, check this out, man. You know what I mean? I've been down for a minute. I got some motion. You feel me? I'm trying to see what you want to get into. He was like, shit, what you want to get into? I'm like, shit, bro, you know, I'm all about getting money. He said, shit, I am too. He said, so what's going on? I said, look, I said, I got 2 blue suits. I said, I'm having a problem though. I said, I got some throwers too, but you know what I mean, they getting greedy. They trying to overcharge me to throw the pit at. He said, man, I got something for you. I'm like, what's up? He was like, I got 2 people down here. That's what they specialize in. I said, they know what they're doing? He was like, hell yeah. He said, shit, we're going to, later on, we'll give him a call and we're going to see what's what. I'm like, well, what they charge? He said, man, because it's you, bruh. He said, man, they probably just going to charge you like $500 a piece. So that's good business because the ones I was dealing with, they were trying to overcharge me. They would charge me probably like $1,200 a piece. And I had 3 of them. But I never gave them all the money up front. I gave them a percentage. I probably gave them like $650 or $550. And if, with a big IF, if I get the pack, I give them the rest of their money. That's the deal they had. That's the deal we had. That's the understanding. So, being as the throwers that Cha-Cha know, they way cheaper, I'm just going to go in and pay them all their money up front. And again, in this game, you're going to have to take chances. But it's always good to get an understanding. And what I'm about to say right here, this just for, entertainment purposes. If this is something that you ever choose to indulge in, know who and what you're dealing with. Get an understanding. And when I say know who and what you're dealing with, the reason I say that because people in the free world will get your pack. And you might got some good Al Green and some Bobby Brown, and the dudes will play the switcheroo. And when they do that, when you get what you get, that ain't going to be this and this ain't going to be that. And it's going to be a problem. Because once you have a reputation, you got to live up to that reputation. Dudes will give you their money up front once you earn their trust and they know you a good businessman. Dude to cut the check up front, expecting you to do the right thing. And that's the rapport I had with a lot of people I dealt with. I dealt with some dangerous guys, and I knew if anything go left, I got to give them their money back. Not out of fear, but out of respect. That's the understanding we had. So like I said, me and Cha-Cha, we chop it up far as he going to holler at his people in the 229 area, and he going to see what they can make shake. So a little bit later on that night, bro rung my line. I'm like, yo, what up, bro? He like, man, he said, hey, I got some good news. He said, man, they ready to activate whenever you ready. I'm like, shit, let's get it popping, man. We could do something this weekend. So at this time, it probably was about like Thursday. So now I got a day to get everything handled. So now I called my peoples. I said, yo, what can I do? Like, do I got to send them money to buy what I need, or can they purchase it around, the 229 type shit? He said, bro, either or. He said, bro, they experienced. He said, if you want to send them money, that's cool. If you want to get your people to bring it to them, he's like, yo, where your people stay at? I said, I got some people in the ATL, and I got some people in Savannah, He said, well, shit, bro, just cut him the check. He said, man, I vouch for him. So when he said he vouched for him, it was just smooth selling because I know bro honor his word like I do. If he vouch for somebody, he know the seriousness of that. So, everything good in the hood. So I sent bro the money, if I'm not mistaken. I think I sent it to him through Cash App, and he sent the people in the free world the money. And that was that. So, once we sat and talked on the phone a little bit longer, got to understand it, you feel what I'm saying? Like, he was like, shit, bro, what I could put in? I said, bro, like, you could put in what you want to put in. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, how many balls they can throw? He said, shit. They probably could throw like 4 to 6 balls. So, y'all have to understand this. When you in this game, you got to cross your T's and you got to dot your I's. Meaning, you got to know what you're doing. You can't rush nothing. It's all about timing. You got to know how the inside of facility operate in order to execute what you need to execute. So we sat on the phone for, I ain't gonna say hours, I'm gonna say like 2 hours. And we crossed all our T's, we dot all our I's, we put the commas where the commas need to be at, we put the periods where the periods need to be at, so on and so forth. So once we got an understanding, we hung the phone up and he did what he started doing, he was doing, and I started doing what I was doing. So the next day come, right? And I'm chilling in the dorm. I think I'm sitting at the table playing chess. And I was gambling. And I was kind of pissed off because the dude was getting the best of me. You know what I mean? Like normally, I just had started playing chess, you know what I mean? But dude was an old school dude, man. Dude was about 60. And he was always like 3 or 4 moves ahead of me. He always say, he said, young buck, if you move that night right there, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. And it used to make me so mad because I couldn't see it. I see my move, but all this shit he talking about, if I move this night, this gonna happen. I'm saying in my mind, man, that ain't this and this ain't that. But he most definitely had my number. When I moved, and that was my best move, the night. I could have moved the bishop, I could have moved the pawn, I could have moved my queen, know what I mean? But my best move on the chessboard was moving the knight. And every time he say something, that's exactly what happened. And he had me down 3-0. And I think we was playing like $5 a game. And I'm like, every time I lose the game, I got to put 5. Because, you know, the saying in prison, this is a jewel I'm about to drop. Money out of sight cause a fight. Money on the wood is all good. So for those that's watching this video and those that's in chain gang, go by that rule. I'm not going to lead you wrong. You feel me? Don't never go by a person's word. Man, I got my money in my locker box. Don't do that. Don't go for that. Man, I go to the store this week. Again, money out of sight. That mean you can't see it. Where is that? Because if you got the money, it's all good in the hood, bring it to the table. Put it on the board, make it all good. So like I said, I'm down 3-0. And we was playing for all white bricks. Not the ones in the free world. That ain't this and this ain't that. We call white bricks. And chain gang, they was the icy white honey buns. And they was a big deal. And we was playing for racks of cookies. So when I lose a game, I got to slide them 5 all white bricks. If I ain't got to slide them to all white bricks, I got to slide them to racks of cookies. And I'm looking, and it just make me mad because I'm study playing and losing. I'm like, man. And my pride getting away because he's not only beat me out my money, he's doing it. He's talking shit. Now, I'd rather for you just beat me and just be quiet about it. I don't want everybody in the video, you feel me? Like, he just one of them old school dudes. He loved to play chess, and you know what I mean? It's a big deal when he win. He gonna let it be known. Man, this young whippersnapper don't know what he got going on. I knew, but I wasn't ready for him. So when he got me to the 4th game, somebody saved me. Somebody knocked on the window. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, yo, tell Ghost to come to the window. Man, I jumped up so quick. I go to the window. I'm like, yo, what's up? He said, hey, man, your blue suit said come holler at her. I'm like, everything good? She was like, yeah, everything good. So I said, look, man, what you got going on? He like, shit, bro, I'm about to go back on the big yard and play ball. I said, look, try to get me at the dorm. He said, man, bro, you know you got this police ass also work your dormitory. I said, man, bro, we need to try to get him at the dorm. So I ain't going to flex, bro. I had a little rabbit in my blood. I was trying to get an alibi to get a dorm because I know for a Fendi fact he about to win his 4th game, and then he might win the 5th game, and then that's a glove. That's what we play for in chain game. If you lose 5 games back to back to back to back to back, that mean you ain't talking about nothing. So again, I was trying to bob and weave, stick and move. Get out of there, Rock. So eventually, you know what I mean, he went to the salad port. The police that was working my dormitory, they went to the bathroom. So he had slick talk the police that's working the booth and got me out of the dormitory. So boom, I got out, you know what I mean, went over there to my blue suit dormitory. She was working the open dorm. I was in the cell house. I go over there, and you got to know how to move. When you got a blue suit on your team, you got to play it like she's a regular CO. You can't be on no, and this is game I'm giving anybody's watching the video that's locked up, or you may get locked up in the future. You got to play the cards that you was dealt. You got to know how to control your body language. You got to know when to say something. You got to know if somebody else standing around, and 10 times to 10, they wait for inmates and convicts to clear out so they can shoot their shot. And if you're not patient, or if you show too much energy towards the female you're trying to talk to, it's going to blow a cover. So being as, I'm experienced, I just lay back on the Maybach. You feel me? I just, leaned on the fence. Well, actually, I turned my back towards her, and I'm talking to some people that I'm cool with on the big yard, because they was out there, they was playing basketball, and then it was also a baseball tournament going on. So, I would chop it up with dudes on the big yard. But I keep turning around. I'm trying to, and dudes, like, I could tell they was infatuated how she looked and how she conducted herself. Now, I'll keep it 100 with y'all. A female, and I'm saying it respectfully, a female could look like the bottom of a person's boot. She's a female, and you got dudes, they're going to look at her like she's the most flyest, sexiest, most beautiful thing they ever seen in their lifetime. And a lot of females, they not used to all that attention. So when they do get it, they eat it up. But the CR I was dealing with, she was experienced, because I told her, if you want to survive in this game and you want to get money with me, you got to know how to conduct yourself. I said, don't wait till I come around and you get all nonchalant to the inmates and the convict that you was already talking with. And I said, if you got a chain gang boyfriend in the dorm, I said, that's cool. I said, just let me know, because I don't want to step on his toes. Because I know from experience, once a person's feelings and emotions get involved, they not thinking clearly. So I know she's on point. She's on her shit. So like I said, while I stand there and talk to the dudes on the big yard, you feel me? You got 3 to 4 dudes shooting a shot. And probably like a whole hour in elapsed. And I'm getting frustrated. It's the summertime. You got gnats flying around and mosquitoes. So I'm like, hold up, swole up. You know what I mean? It just, in the summertime, man, that's going to happen. Like, but, I'm out here for a reason, not a season. I'm trying to see what she want. So she had looked up, and she can see the frustration on my face. Like, I done been here almost an hour, man. Like, tell them dudes to speed on. So when she kind of seen, like, my body language, she seen I was getting irritated, she eventually told the dudes to go in the dormitory. So I'm like, what's up? She said, it's about time for us to make another move. And that's one thing I liked about her. Like, I could be chilling like a villain, and you know what I mean? She already got all her money that she earned, and I done, made my money that I invested. And before I can call her and let her know it's time to make something shake again, she pull up on me. So I'm like, well, when you trying to do it? She said, well, Sunday, a good day for me. I said, okay. Like I said, I think it was like Thursday. Maybe it was Thursday or Friday. So I said, okay. I said, well, I'm going to send you the bread so you can get everything you need. She said, okay. So, just to see would she do this, I asked her, because it's just something I always do. And not no pressure. But, sometimes, like they say, closed mouth don't get fed. I'm like, you don't want to try to bring no phone? She saw some, hell no. She said, what I told you about that? I'm not bringing no phone. She said, I will bring you what me and you agreed to bring. And like I said, one of them was bringing the Bobby Brown, and one of them was bringing the Al Green. The one that I was speaking to, she was with it. She'll bring both, but you don't want to never overwork your blue suit. And like, you just gotta know, what you're doing. You know what I mean? So I told her, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see the paper, and you go in and cop what you cop, and we're gonna get it on like that. She said, okay, cool, call me later tonight. So I'm like, all right. So I leave. So I said, let me go holler at my mans and them. I go on the east side. Now, this really some funny shit right here, right? I had a dude that was on my team. He was in the mental health building. Now, y'all got to understand something. you have individuals at these facilities, they are mental health. You got different levels of mental health. You got level 1, 2, and 3. And they got a mental health dormitory. Some of those dudes are pretending. Some of those dudes pretend until they actually became mental health, and some of those dudes don't have no sense for real. They ain't got they got all their screws loose. So the dude I was dealing with, he was actually borderline. He was pretending, and he was about to slip and become full-blown mental health. But I used to always go over there and talk to him. Like, it had been times he'd have been in the pill line, and I'd go up to him and say, yo, what's up? And talk to him. His name was Mike. I'm like, yo, what's up, Mike? He'd be like, yo, what's up, Ghost? I'm like, yo, you good? And I could just look at him and tell he was changing. So I said, hey, yo, when you get them pills, don't take them. And they had a CO up there for us securing the pill line for the nurse that's giving the inmates the pills. But he really don't be doing his job. He'll tell you to lift your tongue up. And, you know, being as I knew people in previous camps that used to take mental health medicine and they rarely take it, I knew what to tell him so he'll know what to do and not take the pills. So every time he get up there to the pill line, the lady, I think they had him on like 3 or 4 different prescription of pills. So when he get up there, time he get the pills, they give him a little white cup and they give him a clear cup. The clear cup is to drink the water. So as soon as he get up there, I go to mess with the police. Hey, blase squads, hey, da-da-da-da-da. Just say some crazy stuff off the wall just to throw his attention off my mans and them. And that split second, he'll just throw him in his mouth and he'll put him under his tongue. You know what I mean? And I just continue to irritate the CO, and he don't want to tell my man to lift up his tongue. And the nurse that's giving all the inmates the pills, she ain't, like, that's not her job. Her job is to give them the pills and, you know, next in line. So with Mike, get away from the pill line, we go near the store line, and I said, yo, spit that shit out, bro. So he'll spit him out. I said, man, throw that shit away. You know what I mean? He'll throw it away. I said, yo, what's going on? He like, man, he said, everything good. I said, hey, bro, look, don't be taking the pills because, again, I knew him from a previous camp. We was in Telfair together. And the Mike I know, he was a stand-up guy. He got kids. He got family that love him. You know what I mean? And he used to write poems. He knew how to draw and everything. So to see him like this, it kind of touched me. And you know what I mean? If I rock with you, you my friend or associate or somebody I got loyal ties to, I'm going to go above and beyond to make sure you all right. If you know, you know. So we walking and talking. So I said, how business going over there? He said, everything good. So basically what I had him selling, you know what I mean, I give him like a half a can. And Mike had the whole dorm on smash. I give him a little bit of Al Green. I won't give him too much. It probably was, I'll probably give him like 2 G's type shit. You feel me? Something to smoke. And he had his own circle in there. And being real, I'm not going to say he was a goon, but he ran his dorm with an iron fist. Like, he was the go-to guy in the middle of the dorm. So I walked around to the dorm. I talked to him some more, you know what I mean? And I said, man, bro, look, you got to stand firm, man. Don't let these folks break you, bro. You know what I mean? And he had a phone. And that used to worry me a lot because I just know he was the only person in that dormitory with a phone. And I just let him know. I said, man, listen, you cannot let these dudes know you got a phone because, again, it's 3 levels of mental health in that dormitory. You got 1, 2, and 3. You got one class, they pretending. You got the other class that's borderline, and you got those that's mental health. And the medicine that they take, it really matters as far as their mood swing. So once I talk to him a little bit more, you feel me? I diddy bop, I bounce. I go back on my respectful side. So as the day continued, Fast forward, day pass, you feel me? Tap in with Cha-Cha early the next day. And I asked him how everything looking. He said, man, everything's smooth sailing. He said they done bought all the footballs and everything that's needed, you know what I mean, to execute the play. I said, okay, cool, smooth. We're going to pop it off Saturday. He said, all right, no doubt. So that Saturday came, you feel me? And business was handled smoothly. You know, I had to have some people, like he was orchestrating the play, but you know, when you're putting a play together, you got to have different people in different dormitories because the machine, the same way, you know, it's our job to, you know, get away with whatever we trying to do. It's their job to catch us. And always teamwork make a dream work. So, you know, he had people in different positions that was, you know what I mean, you know, he was quarterbacking, then, you know, he had his runners back, you know what I mean? He had his tight end, wide receiver, he had his blockers, so on and so forth. And, you know, everything was success. I think we had got like, I think like 12 footballs at one time. And all of them was full of phones. Again, the phones, if I'm not mistaken, at the time, they was going for like $2,500 to $3,000. And as soon as we got the footballs, you feel what I'm saying, they sold like hotcakes. Because at the time, the tech squad just came down there and tore the camp up, you feel me? And if you didn't have a secure spot, your phone was gone. And people that suffer from tech squad shakedowns, they don't be want to pay the put up man. And you know, and put up man, you know, you got to stand. He's protecting your lifeline. But some dudes, they cannot put their phone up longer than 2 hours. They got to holler at their girlfriend. They got to pillow talk, and you know what I mean? And every time a major shakedown come, they suffer the consequences. So like I said, when Charlie Global, people came down there was experience. They was so experienced, it shocked me. I couldn't believe it. Like, when I was dealing with my throwers, you know, they were still being groomed, but they had heart. And sometimes I get like 70% of my pack. And the other footballs will get caught up in a razor wire. And anytime your pack get caught up in a razor wire, they know some had to, you know, get through. And automatically, they're going to shake you down. But as I said, Cha-Cha people, they came through all the footballs, everything success. We split it how we supposed to split it. You know what I mean? He got his percentage. I got my percentage. His people was already paid. And, you know, we broke bread. So now, the camp, as soon as I had reached out and hit a couple of people, let them know I got phones on deck, like I said, they was selling like hotcakes. You know what I mean? I got the phones, and I think they was having a field day. The same day, I think it was Saturday, they was having a field day. And that's the day my female supposed to bring me my pack, my Al Green. So, you know what I mean? I'm out there on the big yard. I'm not involving myself too much in what they had going on, you feel me? I'm just trying to see, you know, what's what, this network. And that's majority time, when I go out this network. You know, that's, a lot of dudes that know me, that's why they start calling me Ghost, because I rarely go out. And when I do come out, I go out for a couple of minutes, network and politic and talk to who I need to, and I go back in. You know what I mean? Rarely come out because there was no need. So like I said, I go on the big yard. And you had some dudes, they was having a session, a rap session. And I should have to explain this, but for those that's watching this video and don't know what the hell a rap session is, let me break it down to you. It's basically when dudes battle. They battle rap. They spit their flames, you know what I mean? They talk that talk. So I'm like, okay. I'm checking out the cipher that they got. You know what I mean? It's going down. You got dudes from different cities rapping. You got dudes from the dirty South. You got dudes from the West Coast, the East Coast. It's going down. They done drew a crowd. It's probably about like, I said about like 70 people over there. And the police, they ain't even over there. They over there bobbing their head. You got dudes beatboxing and, you know what I mean, dudes beating on their chest, making the beat. So I'm like, okay. So while I'm standing over there, somebody that knew me from a previous camp, he was like, hey, yo, Ghost, he like, man, spit something. So, by this time, I'm trying to be incognito because I got a lot going on. I don't like get put on blast. So I'm like, yo, man, chill, man, lay back in the Maybach, bro. I said, man, I ain't with all that. So one dude like, oh, shit, you must be scared to rap. I said, scared? And, by me being a man of respect, when he said the word scared, it kind of touched me. It kind of pissed me off. So I'm like, nah, bro. I said, I ain't scared, man. I said, nah, ain't the time. He said, yeah, you know what's going on. So I just looked at him. I'm like, okay. So I said, I tell you what, I'll be right back. I said, what y'all want to bet some money? Because, at the end of the day, I'm not going to do nothing for free. Like, you want me to rap? Yeah, I can rap, but I'm not about to just entertain the crowd. That ain't this and this ain't that. You feel me? So, dude was like, shit, if you want to bet some money, and he was just he was too cocky. I'm like, oh yeah, he might know a little something. So, I said, okay. So I had two dudes down there that was real ill on the mic. You had a dude named, his name was Mike too. It was Mike something else, but for security reasons, I'm not going to mention his name in this video. But just name, Money Mike. So, Money Mike, he was real nice. He's from Brooklyn, New York. Real nice on the mic. And I had another dude in an open dormitory. You feel me? So when I went over there to check, they were like, man, bro, that nigga in the hole. I'm like, damn. So I said, all right. I said, yo, let me off the yard. So I got off the yard, you feel me? Went to the dormitory, put my phone out. I'm like, damn. I'm looking at my call log. I'm like, yo, who in here can rap? Because again, I know I can probably, if not beat him, give him a good challenge. But again, I'm not trying to draw no heat to myself. Guess who I call? I call that boy Cha-Cha, Charlie Global. I hit him up. I'm like, yo, what up, bro? What's good? What you doing? He be like, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm just kicking Major Flavor over here, man. He like, what's up with it? I'm like, how business going? He said, man, bro, this shit sound like hotcakes over here. I'm like, shit, no doubt. I said, and guess what he said? When we going back, I said, shit, bro, this your city, man. Like I said, this the 229 area, man. You know what I mean? I'm just going to lay back in the Maybach and let you work, do your thing. I'm just going to assist you. He was like, all right, we're going to put something together. I said, look, but I got some more shit coming tomorrow, man. You feel me? I said, whatever you want, you know what I mean? You ain't even got to put nothing in. I just shoot some shit over there. I'll put a little small price on it, and we'll go from there. He like, nah, bro, I ain't doing that. He said, man, I'm just going to pay for my shit out there to free world, and we'll get it in. We're going to split it, even like we did the last pack. I'm like, shit, we could do that. And that's one thing I had respect about Charlie Globe when I first met him. He was a leader. Like, he wasn't going for no anything, even for me. You feel me? Like, it don't matter if he looked at me as a big brother. It was like, bro was a person of principle. And it stood out. And then, I don't like no yes man. And bro most definitely wasn't no yes man. So, you know what I mean? That's why me and bro clicked. You feel what I'm saying? And to this day, we still rock with each other. So, I said, man, I need a favor. So at the time, I didn't even know he can rap. I said, bro, what you doing? He said, man, I'm over here just chilling, man. You know what I mean? So I'm finishing off the rest of this pack. I said, look, man, they got a little, not a talent show. They got a little recreation over here, bro. You know what I mean? I used to come over here, man. I said, it's a dude chime. He said, what? And the first thing he said, what they talk about? He said, they talk about some money. I said, they ain't talking about the money, but shit, I'm going to put some money up. He said, man, shit, I'm about to get out the dorm right now. So, boom. Bro got the dorm, you know what I mean? He worked his 1 and 2s on the CO that was working the fence to get from one side to the other side, and then they let him in the gate. So, boom. When I seen him, I pull up. I'm like, yo, what up, bro? We dap up or whatever. And he said, oh, this shit piped up over here. I'm like, yeah, man. I said, man, let's go over there to the little session, the little cipher they got. You know what I mean? So we go over there. So as soon as I go over there, I go to networking. Well, I go to talking to some dude that I sold some phones to. And just making sure they was happy with the product so I'm like, yo, everything good? I'm like, the battery worked, everything was like, you need anything? They were like, man, bro, everything good, man, I appreciate it. I'm like, all right. So me and Cha-Cha, we just, you know what I mean, sitting back, watching the dudes rap. And you had some lyricists over there. Like, you got dudes, like I said, some dudes from the Dirty South, they doing their thing. Some dudes from the West Coast, they doing their thing. Some dudes from the East Coast. And everybody had their unique style. But this the thing. You know, I always been smarter than the average bear. And I know by us being in the Dirty South, the crowd gonna, you know, go towards the Dirty South lyrics. And I know this. You feel me? So I have a different style, you feel what I'm saying? But I knew just by the crowd, how they were cheering for, who they were cheering for, I said, man, you know, I ain't even gonna get out here. And again, I feel I could have won. But I said, okay. So me and Cha-Cha, we sit back for a couple of minutes, you feel me? And they was doing their thing. I said, bro, you brought some weed out here? He said, man, you already know I brought a little Al Green, man. I said, man, shit, roll up. So we roll up, we smoking. You know what I mean? The police, he keep coming over there. Well, he, like I said, he was over there, but when he smelled that, them trees go up in the air, he went to make this round and circle. So, you know, we smoking, and then we'll go from the left to the right, we'll move, walk around a little bit, you know what I mean? And the police kept sniffing with it, sniffing ass. But, you know, after we finished smoking, I'm like, shit, I said, you ready? He's like, man, I was ready before I smoked that shit. I'm like, all right, say less. So I go over there, right? So the dude just finished battling somebody. You feel me? And he's talking shit. He was a dude, he was from the South. You know what I mean? But he was from the South, moved to New York, and then came back to the South. So, you know, he had a unique style. You know, he was a lyricist, and he knew what the crowd liked, just like me. But I'm always going to stay one step ahead in the competition. So I'm like, shit, yo, what up, bro? I said, yo, what you going to do? So he just was so confident because I guess he felt he heard my lingo and how I talk, he know like, okay, you ain't really from the South. He said, I know I got you. But guess what? I got somebody right here I know gonna eat you. So I'm like, shit. I'm like, yo, what's your life like? He like, what you mean? I'm like, yo, how much money you got? What you talking about? He said, shit, make a light on yourself. I just only smiled because, you know, I was never the type of person to throw, well, when I was getting money of this altitude, I would never throw it up in a person's face like I'm bigger than somebody. But when he said, make it light on myself, like I told y'all, I'm selling a phone for $2,500, $3,000, and me and Charles got a boatload of them. So when he said it, I kind of looked at bro. He looked at me. I'm like, bro, man. And I ain't want to embarrass him and shit, you feel me? I'm like, shit, man, we're going to bet it light 500. Guess what this fool say? 500. He said, man, you must ain't got no confidence in yourself. So, like I said, I was one step ahead of him because I never said you was about to battle me. I just, like, when he said what he said, I'm like, okay, I just smiled. So I'm like, I tell you what you want to bet? So we came up with the agreement, we was going to bet $1,000. So I'm like, bet. So we shook on it. So I'm like, shit, come on with it. I said, oh, nah, I ain't about to battle you. I said, I got somebody for you, right? So I said, hold up. I said, before we battle, I said, yo, where your money at? He said, oh, I got it. I said, bro, look. And it's the thing. I got a lot of niggas out here that got love for me. And I know if something go left, we're going to air the whole big yard out. You feel me? So I'm not going to put nobody that I got loyal ties to or that I consider a friend or who I rock with, I'm not going to put them in jeopardy. You feel me? So I told him, I said, look, bro, the only way we're going to do this, you got to show it to me. He like, but shit, where your money at? So by this time, the officer on the gate called the officer that's running the big yard and told him he need to he need him to come to the gate. They need to trade out for a minute. And off top, he got mad because he know this little rap battle about to go down. So he stormed over there. He mad. You know what I mean? So when he left, you know, I go in my pocket. I probably had like $700 in cash on me. You know what I mean? So I didn't really, like I said, I didn't want to expose my hand, but you know, for the paper, I will. You know what I mean? So I pulled out. I had some 20s, some 50s. You know what I mean? Probably like $200 bills or whatever. So I'm like, yo, this 700 right here, bro. I said, yo, where your money at? He said, you said 1,000. So a dude that I rock with, right? He was in F building. He was in F1. That was the fire department dormitory. He went in his pocket. He said, shit, homie. He said, man, I got bro covered. He's speaking about me. So he like, huh? He peeled off $300. I said, well, look, here go my 1,000. Where your 1,000 at? So he go to looking around. He like, man, let me see what I can come up with. I said, man, bro, listen. If you ain't willing to, like you saying you talking all this shit, bro, you got to put your money where your mouth is. I got mine. Where yours at? He said, man, give me a minute. So I'm like, all right. So by this time, he walked off, and other dudes go to rapping. So now, like I said, Cha-Cha, Charlie Global just got to the camp. They don't even know. I don't even know how much of a lyricist bro is. You know what I mean? I just got faith in my man. You feel me? I'm willing to put up a band on. So I'm like, hey, Cha-Cha, you got this nigga? He was like, what? He said, man, bro, this is what I do. So when he said it and how he said it, I'm like, shit. Like, I want to put up some more money because, you know, bro was just confident. You know what I mean? So dude, he walked in the big yard, and then he hollered some cats from New York that I know. You know what I mean? Like, down there we had a up north clique. You feel me? Dudes from Brooklyn, the Bronx, Jersey. We rock with dudes from Cincinnati, Baltimore, you feel me? Queens, so on and so forth. And, you know, we was very, very tightly knit. So when he come back over there, he brung all them. So I guess he thought, I don't know what he thought. You feel me? Like, he knew I was from up north, but he was thinking when he brought him over here, something gonna change. So my man, one of my Puerto Rican homies from Brooklyn, he be like, yo, son. He like, yo, son, he good for it. I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, bro, listen. I understand what you say. I respect your word. You feel me? Your word, I mean, carry weight. But I said, bro, he talked too much, bro. I'm like, so the nigga was like, what? I'm like, yo, you heard what I said? I said, hey, bro, listen, let's keep it music, bro. We ain't gonna go to, because again, he outgunned out here, and I know this. It's for a 50 fact. He might not know. You know what I mean? Like, the same dudes from up north that you came and got, you thinking they gonna ride with you, you feel me? Like, it ain't gonna go down like he expect. But my man said, yo, let me holler at you right quick, son. So we walked to the side. So he turned to the right, turned to the left. Then he pulled out his phone. Had a little, know what I mean? A little jump off phone. So, and you know, bruh, he was, know what I mean, messing with the touch screens then, you feel me? He put a touch screen. He said, bro, what's your cash at? So I told him. So he sent me $1,000 on the cash app right then. So I'm like, yo, you believe in this dude like that? He like, yo, he said, man, he nice. I said, bro, he might be nice, but I said, but I don't believe he can mess with Cha-Cha. He said, Cha-Cha? I said, yeah, that's my man. You know what I mean? He was like, man, bro, he gonna eat. I said, bro, no, he not. So make a long story short, he said, we're gonna see. So, like I said, he sent me the $1,000, and I went back over there. So I go holler at Charlie. I'm like, hey, bro, we got a band on the line, man. I said, look, you go ahead and smash this dude, you feel what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm gonna put $5 in your pocket. He said, man, bro, you ain't got to put no money in my pocket. He said, man, I'm just going to do this out of love for you, bro. You know what I mean? He said, man, you already helped me out. You know what I mean? We good. I said, all right, say less. So, until next video, until part 2, y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna let y'all know how the rap battle went in the next story. It went down. It wasn't no easy victory, but guess what? Y'all know what's happening. Salute.